It's a German university. There you go. A very good one in Stuttgart. I highly recommend. So he's here to, he works with Tomer, and last year, if anybody was here, Tomer is the one who pretty much trolls the Hebrew forums, right? And he helps people in the Hebrew Google forums, so they work really side by side, helping, obviously, SEOs around the world, especially those who speak Hebrew and need Hebrew support. So he's here today with us to pretty much answer any question we might have from the audience, as well as some questions we prepared online from people who submit those questions online. Basically, a question I got a lot from these different reps when they come is like, how does Kaspar's title or job role differ from a person like Matt Kotz? I'm sure everybody here, anybody not know who Matt Kotz is? Raise your hand. I don't know. All right, you do. Anyway, so could you just describe how your role differs from Matt Kotz per se?
Hello, everyone. I'm pleasantly surprised to see this many faces, despite the warning earlier today that you should not be listening to search engine representatives. Thank you for giving up on me. Thank you, Barry. So, Matt is the head principal of web spam engineering, right? So, he's got a very manager's type strategic position, and it's probably fair to say he's spearheading the entire operation at Google. I'm a search quality strategist working from our European headquarters in Dublin, and I'll be mainly dealing with preventing spam from being visible to our users across languages. It doesn't really matter which language you focus on. Spam basically doesn't speak a particular language, it's code. Part of my job, however, is web spam. It's actually webmaster outreach. And that's the reason why I'm here today. It includes also publishing on behalf of Google. Some of you might have seen blog post in Hebrew on running multiple websites. That's been published very recently, and proud to say I was able to contribute to that one. Wrote it together with Tomer, who you might know. He says hi, by the way. And another part of webmaster outreach is obviously going to conferences, sitting down in panels, listening to whatever webmasters have on their hearts and answering their questions. And obviously, it gives you a chance to see wonderful places like Jerusalem as well.
Great, thank you. Before we start, do you have any questions for the audience? I don't know if I prepped you or you're going to ask at the end.
Who bought the link? It's okay, I know your sides.
That's great. That's usually the first question they ask. All right, so one of the first questions that we have for you are related to social signals. I'm sure a lot of people out there have been seeing all the blog posts from Google and videos and from different SEOs where, you know, Bing recently announced their Facebook partnership with, Bing announced their partnership with Facebook, and they basically have data that Google does not have. They have the Facebook knowledge of what people are sharing, what people like, and how those friends online connect. And recently, Matt Kotz and Google announced that they are using social signals in the different ranking algorithms. And a lot of people are asking, can you talk a little bit more about that and what you know about that?
Sure. So, for starters, yes, it's true. We're looking into social signals, which, to second Matt, it doesn't mean that getting large amount of not very high-value links from Facebook or other social services is going to make any difference. We do look into like the environment surrounding this kind of links as well. The question that comes to my mind is how much of a new trend is that? It's probably more visible now, hence there is large social networks. But as a matter of fact, community has been always playing a huge role for Google. It was really always about creating a community and having people like your site, having people link your site, having people talk about your site. So I think it's really a continuous strategy we've been running as of that matter. Does that answer your question, Barry?
I believe so, but anybody have an additional follow-up question on that right now? No, then we'll move on. Okay, great. All right, so you definitely see a lot of people posing questions in the various forums, and for me, I do a lot of tracking of forums as well. I like to see a lot of what people are asking. What to you is the most common SEO myth that you see posted in one of these forums?
I think that really depends on language. One that I would really like to see to die off and never come again is that having a big AdWords campaign would help you in any capacity to rank better, which is not true. I've been saying that for almost 5 years now, and I still come across people believing it's happening. It's probably wishful thinking on the side of some folks, but really it's not something that's possible. Meaning, if you have an AdWords campaign, that's great, but we have a very strong separation between natural search and paid search. So no matter how big the budget is, if you're spending, you're likely to have your site performance in the natural search impacted, regardless of the budget. On the other hand, if your site has been removed for some reason and you're assuming having an AdWords campaign would help to get it re-indexed, again, this is not going to help you. That's probably one that's common to a bunch of languages. Interesting.
You banned yourself, so.
I don't have a red button if that's your question.
Back, I don't know if you remember this, back, I think Google Japan?
Well, that's a case that Matt has briefly touched on. Look, Google is a large organization and obviously mistakes happen. And I think it only speaks for the integrity of the search quality team to apply the same policy to every property, regardless if it's one of our own properties. It was a little bit unfortunate because obviously we should be sticking to our own policies, but I think it's been the right thing to do.
Taking a step further, their own forums, not the webmaster forums, but the AdWords forums that Google monitors and helps AdWords advertisers with, was also penalized by themselves, by Google, for doing something, I forgot what it was exactly, but it was something that they didn't do intentionally, but they had to set an example to themselves to go ahead and take action on methods that should have been used. And it's good to see you guys doing that.
I'm delighted to say they're back in the index.
It didn't take too long. Okay. So, in 2010, one of the major topics that was discussed by SEOs towards the end of at least 2010, this past year, was that exact domains tend to rank a little bit too well. Basically, if you own a domain like buyflowers.com, if you did a search for buy flowers, it would rank higher than it should without any other factors involved. On a whole, not always, but that's what a lot of people are talking about, and that concept